Good afternoon, everybody. Please unmute yourself and please tell me whether you are able to hear me or not. So should we start the topic? Coming on to the last topic for today, references, which is also called as bibliography. The last topic for today, and in fact, the last topic to be written in your dissertation or the thesis also. Now, before starting my topic, can anyone tell me what is my dissertation or the thesis which you are preparing? Because my topic is to give you the guidelines regarding the last part of your thesis, that is the references. Please unmute yourself and please tell what is my dissertation or the thesis. Okay. Now, your thesis or the dissertation. A dissertation means a long piece of writing on a particular subject that is done as a part of university degree. What the meaning? It embodies the results of the original research and especially substantiating a specific view in your subject. If you are trying on some specific topic, then it will substantiate that topic. Okay. So in short, in our thesis, we are putting an idea that is discussed and presented along with the evidence in order to show that it is true. Because our thesis, our topic of the thesis will be based on some topic which you will choose from some research work which has already been undertaken. And we will be quoting that research work. Along with that, to support your study, you will quote some other articles, and that all articles which you have taken help for your research, they are to be enlisted at the end of your thesis in the references column. So we have to give the evidence which articles we have used. Now, some people call this as a bibliography and some people call it as references. Okay. Now, what to write, what to use, whether bibliography or the reference. Now, the reference, it means any book or any journal or the newspaper, CD or the internet site quoted in the dissertation. Whereas bibliography, it is the list of all these books, the journals, newspapers, CDs, internet sites used for the research, whether they are quoted or not quoted. So now from this comparison itself, it's clear that we should use the term reference. Please do not write anything. Please concentrate on the presentation, because this PowerPoint I am going to give you on your WhatsApp group. I will give this PowerPoint to one of the PG of the community medicine department. He will share that PowerPoint with all of you. Now, what the dictionary says, what is the bibliography and what is the reference. As per the dictionary, reference is a very broad term, a written or the spoken comment that mentions somebody or something. Whereas bibliography, it is the list of the books and the articles that a writer used while writing a particular book or the article. So from the dictionary also, it is clear that a reference is a broad term, which is always better to use. So we will now zero down on the reference. Now, what is this referencing? It is a standardized and a consistent way of acknowledging the source of information. Means whatever studies we are taking into consideration for our research, that we will put in the referencing. It validates the studies or the study materials quoted in our dissertation. Now this is used in the assignments for identification of the source. If you are used certain article or certain quote from somewhere, then from where it is taken, it has to be placed in the thesis. It has to be placed in the reference so that the reader can identify the source from where that reference has been taken. Now, internationally, it is accepted while referencing any article or any quote, you have to use the Vancouver style. The International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, ICMJE, has recommended the Vancouver style for referencing for publications. And the publications in the medicine, biomedicine, medical technology, and allied health sciences. So now we are using the Vancouver style for referencing our references. Now, if you see any dissertation of your senior, you will see a reference list at the end of the thesis. Now, what is this reference list? It is a number list of references provided at the end of the paper or the article or the dissertation. The list is arranged in the order of citation in the text and not in the alphabetical order. I repeat, it is not arranged in the alphabetical order, but it is arranged in the order of citation in the text. Means the reference which we are quoting first in our thesis. You have started quoting the references. The first reference which you are quoting, it should be labeled as number 1. And the reference which is quoted at number 9 in the order, it should be quoted as number 9. The reference is indicated in the text as a superscript, like this one, above the alphabets, or in a bracket like this. Now coming on to few of the examples, how the reference is quoted. The theory was first put forward in 1987. This is sentence in our thesis. And we are putting reference number 1 here. Now, in this reference, which we'll be putting in the reference list at the end, it will show this content. Scholz has argued that this is a sentence. So what Scholz has argued, that we'll put in reference number 2. Several recent studies. Now, sometimes we may quote the multiple references for a single sentence or the single finding. Okay. The punctuation and the order of the details in the reference should be correct. Punctuation marks are used for dividing the written materials into the sentences and phrases. These punctuation marks, they include the full stop, the comma, colon, semicolon, sometimes question mark, and few other things. But the commonly used are the full stop, comma, colon, and semicolon. While enlisting a reference to fragment our written material, we use these punctuation marks with some gap or without some gap. That we'll discuss further, how to use them. Now, what is quoted as a reference? Any article from any journal that can be quoted as a reference, which we are taking into consideration for our research purpose. Similarly, we can quote a chapter of a textbook or a reference book or a monograph. We can quote any electronic article as our reference. Even we can quote the conference papers or the proceedings as our reference, which are useful for our research. Even we can use the personal communications, articles from the newspapers, emails, and many other things, which will help us for our research purpose. Now, quoting the article from a journal, how it should be quoted. How an article from the journal should be quoted. In a Vancouver style, whenever I am quoting a research paper or the article in some journal, how I should quote. Initially, I will write the serial number in the order of appearance in my thesis. Okay. Then I will put a full stop, a mark of punctuation here. Then I will leave one gap, and then we have to write the name or the names of the authors. Please write here the name and the initials only. For example, my name is Ashwini Kumar Babu Rao Sapate. So we are not supposed to write it as Ashwini Kumar Babu Rao Sapate. Instead, we will write it as Sapate, gap, and A, B in the capitals. Then we'll put a full stop here. Then with one gap, we'll write the title of the article. Again, a full stop, punctuation mark. This we are fragmenting our written material for that reference. Okay. Now we will put the title of the journal. Again, this is put in the short form. How I will tell you next. Put a full stop again. Then write the year, month, and date of punctuation, followed by semicolon. And without any gap, write the volume. And if that journal has some issue number, then in the bracket in front of the volume, write the issue. Then put a colon here, and without any gap, put the page number or the page range followed by a full stop. Got it? What we are supposed to write? The serial number, the name of the authors, the title of the article, title of the journal, year, month, and date of publication. If only year of publication and month of publication is given, then only write year and month. Don't mention the date. And in some journals, if only year is given, if they have not given the month and date of publication, then mention only year, followed by volume, issue, page number, or the page range. Now I will give one example of one of the references quoted in some study. This number 1, it means it indicates that in my dissertation, this reference was quoted for the first time. That is at the top. That is the first reference which was quoted was this. So I have numbered this as the serial number of this reference is number 1. The name of the authors are Halpin SD, Ubel PA, Kaplan AL, followed by a full stop. Then there is title of the article, solid organ transplantation in HIV infected patients, followed by full stop. Now with one gap, now we have quoted a title of the journal in short form, New England Journal of Medicine, followed by full stop. With one gap, we have written the year, month, and date of publication, 2002, July 25. Then immediately there is a semicolon, followed by volume number, followed by issue number in the bracket. It is immediately followed with the colon, and without any gap, we have put it the page range. The page range here is page number 284 to 287. It is written like this. Now please remember, while writing the title of the article, we have to capitalize only the first word of the article title. except for the proper nouns or acronyms if they are appearing in the title of the article. The titles of the journals should be abbreviated as they appear in the Medline journal database. For this purpose, you have to look the journal which you are quoting, how it appears in the Medline journal database. To indicate a page range, if it is a single page, you can mention only 123. But if you are mentioning 8 pages from 123 to 129, then it has to be mentioned like this 123-9. No need to again repeat this 1 and 2. But if the range is crossing the number 10 digit, then in that case we write 126 to 34. It indicates page number 126 to page number 134. Sometimes in some articles, there are multiple authors. So in Vancouver style, we are giving the name of the authors, but there should be some limit. So this limitation has put it up to, the ceiling has been finalized up to 6 authors. Okay. So if there are more than 6 authors, then we should list the first 6 authors enlisted in that article, followed by the words et al. Et al means and others, means we are quoting the name of the first 6 authors and then followed by and others, means other authors. For example, here the number of authors were 9, but we have quoted only the first 6 authors in the list, followed by et al. The rest of the things are they similar to above example, which we have already discussed. Sometimes in some articles, the name of the author is not given. So in that case, we should skip the name of the author and rest of the things we should write in the same format. Sometimes we can quote a thesis or dissertation in our reference. In that case, this should be the style of writing. There are multiple examples how the different things are to be quoted in the reference list. But if I go on discussing all these contents, it will take more than an hour. So now I will skip the minute details. One example I have quoted, one more example, important example I will quote, how to write a reference. Okay. But these other examples I will quit to save the time because they are self-explanatory. Now, if you are quoting an article or chapter in a textbook, then how to quote it? Because these are the two most important or common articles or the common references we are quoting in our thesis. One is the paper in the journal and second is the textbook, some chapter in the textbook. How to quote this textbook? Again, here first we should write the serial number in the order of appearance in the thesis. Then we should write the name of the authors. Then we should write the followed by the full stop. Then we should write the title of the chapter or the article, followed by full stop. Then for the editors, we have to write here about the editors. For that, we have to write the word in, then put a colon. Then we have to write the name of the editors, followed by comma, and then we have to write here editors. Then followed by full stop. Then we have to write a title of the book with the gap here. Then we have to write the place of publication, followed by colon, and with one gap we have to write the name of the publisher, followed by semicolon, and with the gap we have to write the year of publication, followed by full stop, and with the gap we have to write the page number and range. Now we will see one example again. Here number 5. This reference number is 5 in my article. The authors are Melzer PS, Kalonimi A, Trent JM, followed by full stop. Then I have written the title of the chapter, which is chromosome alterations in human solid tumors, followed by full stop. Then to mention the editors, I have written first in, then colon, and with one gap, I have quoted the names of the editors. Augustine B. and Kinsler KW, comma, followed by the word editors. Then I have put a full stop with one gap. I have written the title of the book, The Genetic Basis of Human Cancer, followed by full stop. Then place of publication is the New York, followed by colon, followed by the name of the publisher, McGraw-Hill, followed by semicolon. Then year of publication is 2002, followed by full stop. Then page range for the textbook. We are using the word here P dot. But while quoting an article from the journal, we are not use this alphabet P. But for quoting a textbook, we are using the alphabet P to denote the page range 93-113. Sometimes, if the edition of the book is given, we can include it after the title of the book. The rest of the things, they are similar. Like journal article, capitalize only the first word of the title of the article and book, and except for proper nouns or acronyms. To indicate a page range, use 123-9 or 126-34 also. Now, few more examples are here I have quoted, but I will just flash them and skip them as the principle remains same now. If a corporate author we are using, like company or organization, here the name of individual is not there, but we are quoting the some company or organization, like here Royal Adelaide Hospitals. Then we have to quote the reference in this style. If we are quoting a conference paper, it should be quoted in this style. If we are quoting some government publication, it should be quoted like this. Even we can quote the internet documents in our dissertation, in our references. If we are using some professional internet site, then it should be quoted like this. If we are using personal internet site, it should be quoted like this. And if we are using some general internet site, it should be quoted like this. If we are citing a newspaper article, then it should be quoted like this. If we are quoting the personal communications, the conversations and the letters, they should be written like this in our reference. And if we are citing an email, then it should be written in this style, in this given style. There are many things which again we can put in our references. Now these are the some short forms which were used in the previous styles and now in the Vancouver style also for certain words. The word ed, which were used in the textbook, it denotes edition. If the edition is revised edition, then the word is used as REV. It all already were discussed. It means and others. NO stands for number, and P, as we have seen in the textbook, it stands for the page number or the page range. Para stands for paragraph. PT stands not for the patient but for the part. And SUPPL stands for supplement. VOL stands for volume, particularly in the book or the journal. Now, for searching the articles on the internet and how to reference them in the Vancouver style. If you have to search these guidelines on the internet, please type on the search box samples of the formatted references for authors of journal articles. Please note, to search for the how to write a reference in the Vancouver style, you can search on the internet, simply put a simple sentence there, samples of formatted references for authors of journal articles. It will take you to the National Library of Medicine, in which Again, this subheading will be there, samples of formatted references for authors of journal articles, and it will show the list of the articles or the study materials which can be prepared in the Vancouver style. The articles in the journals, the books and other monographs, the other published material, unpublished material, and electronic materials, etc. Now comes the important part. Please unmute yourself. Okay. Now, how much references are you are supposed to quote in your dissertation? Any idea? Just please unmute yourself and please try to answer this question. Your answer may be wrong, doesn't matter. How much references we should quote in our dissertation?
20 minutes. अभी तो possible नहीं होगा सब चीजें.
As such, legally there are no guidelines how much references we should quote in our thesis or the dissertation. But please at least remember this figure. Number of people in this photograph. How many are they? How many people you are able to see in this photograph? So you should quote.
For example,
You should quote at least 5 to 6 references in your dissertation.
next
Okay.
part
Now, again, a big question is when should I write references in the proper recommended format? Proper recommended format is in the Vancouver style. When should I write these references? So what most of the people they do, they initially search for the articles and they prepare the reference list at the end after completing all their work. But this is the wrong style. This is the wrong way of working. Because by the time you may lose some articles, you may lose some references. So it is always good whenever you cite the article for the first site before starting your research work. At the same time only, you should write that reference in the recommended Vancouver style. Whenever you have seen the article for the first time, before starting your research work, at the same time, start preparing these references in the Vancouver style. So with that, we complete our today's talk. Thank you very much, all of you. Any queries?